People more specific questions about anything they might have seen or anything suspicious that they might have seen. And now we're having this other major development where apparently authorities have now found someone that they have detained for questioning. And where it goes from here, we will continue to monitor. Still too early. This is all breaking and developing as we speak here tonight.
All right, Ed, we'll be staying close with you throughout this hour as this story develops. We're back in the studio here with my panel. This is a very significant night for this case. And David Sarney, you're a retired NYPD detective. Talk to me about how they might have gone from the video and images that we've been seeing to a person that they are questioning now.
Well, you're talking about multifaceted investigation. You have different parts and different movements right now. You have a video of an individual. Is that video of the individual responsible for this ransom note? So this is things that are going to be tied up with whatever comes in the investigation. So we don't know if the person that's been detained is the person on the video or a person dealing with the Bitcoin. And that's the thing. We have to see if there's a connection. I guarantee you right now, with that person detained, search warrants are being obtained, because now they're going to try to get any information, because now you have a person. Is it the same person? We'll figure that out accordingly when this investigation continues.
What's your take, Devin? Do you think this is more than one individual responsible?
When you're dealing with a burglary, you would have usually one person. A night burglar is ones that we kind of consider dangerous at that point, because when there's always there's usually a confrontation. When you're taking somebody, extracting someone from a house, regardless if she's 84, 150 pounds, that may not happen by one person. So the video we see things, but what don't we see? We don't see a vehicle. We don't see anyone else right now that might have been involved. So it's more than likely another person was involved, because if you're going to take someone from their house and extract them from their house and abduct them, putting them into a car or a vehicle or a van, someone's going to have to drive that. Someone's going to have to maintain some sort of custody of that person while they're traveling.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Bitcoin of it all, because that's the other development that occurred tonight. For the first time, this Bitcoin account that was in the ransom note that was received by a local news outlet and also by TMZ, there was activity. So for the people who are unfamiliar with Bitcoin, do you have any sense of why a dollar amount of maybe perhaps $300 or less would have been put into that account, and by whom? Because it seems pretty clear that is not the amount that they were asking for in exchange for Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah, of course, Abby. And I think, first of all, prayers go out to the Guthrie family. And I hope tonight's the night that not only do we break this news, but that Nancy Guthrie is returned home safe. I think that's important to start with. I think that dollar amount was put into that Bitcoin wallet by authorities. I think it was done to determine the identity or potential identity of the perpetrators. I actually think this was one person. I think the way you extract someone from a home is if it's someone that's known to you. They were masked to access entry to the house and evade the camera. But my suspicion is, particularly given some of the other news that we've heard, that it's going to be somebody that Nancy knew, unfortunately, as tragic as that is, and was not taken out by force. I think that's part of why you're not seeing those things. But as it relates to the Bitcoin part, Abby, Bitcoin, contrary to popular belief, is a poor choice of currency for illicit activity. Everything is recorded on the blockchain and ultimately traceable. It can be evaded for some part of time, but as I think we're going to see here, they traced that Bitcoin wallet to the person that holds it. They made that deposit to confirm, and within 15 or 20 minutes of that transaction happening, the FBI swarms. That is not coincidence. It's not the grainy ring camera footage of someone in a ski mask that could be anyone. Crypto is going to be the thing that breaks this case.
Yeah, there's a lot that we don't know, that perhaps authorities are purposefully not revealing. I think one of the big questions to Mark's comments there is, what kind of entry did this person make into the home? And that, I think, seems to me a really key piece of information about what might have transpired. The one thing, though, Joey, that I think would give us all pause is that we do know that there was blood found. So there was some kind of trauma that was inflicted on the victim here. So it wasn't just someone going into their abduction without any sort of resistance, it seems.
Yeah, presumably. I think, though, tonight, Abby, it's a major development. Why? When you look at the video that they've obtained, you have now a relative size of the person. You have a relative height, a relative weight, etc. I think that's important. And no bit of evidence is viewed in isolation. Remember what authorities have done. They've combed that home. They've combed it for DNA. They've looked throughout the home. And we know, you mentioned the blood. Obviously, that's a rich source for DNA. But there are other things, hair follicles, skin cells, footprints, fingerprints, etc. They've ripped open that septic tank, and people, what do? They flush evidence, right? Sometimes they do that. And so that's leaving no stone unturned. And so I think the fact now that you have some description of them, in terms of this Bitcoin and the deposit of this amount of money, think about what ends up happening, right? Now, a bank is not Bitcoin, I get it. But when oftentimes we're putting larger amounts in a bank, there's some nominal fee that's placed in there first to sort of test the account. And so I think that's significant. Who put the Bitcoin in? Don't know. Was it the family? Was it the FBI? Were they tracking this? But I do agree with you, David. I don't think it is coincidental that you have this amount come in there and then you have this detention. I won't call it arrest, a detention, at least a person of interest. And in addition to that, right, they're going to be looking, and they have looked, Abby. We know about the cell tower and what they've been doing there. You don't know whether they have now matched that description to other surveillance or other drones or other things that were in the area on previous days. This was well planned and well orchestrated. And so if this person matching the description was there at some alternate time casing out the place, perhaps they did not have a mask at that time. So big development, right? Again, I think we should be tempered, because it's a detention and certainly it's a suspect. But I agree, and Abby, there's a critical point. You mentioned it. The authorities never tell you all they know, and they shouldn't. Although you want public participation, it's critical. You don't want ever to reveal everything you have out there. I think it impairs the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, and Dante, so now there's a person that is being questioned, perhaps. I mean, what do you think is going down in that conversation with this individual? This person is not a suspect. That sounds like a technicality, but it's partly because they don't have probable cause to charge him with anything, perhaps, right?
In part, I mean, they could be looking at him as someone who may have additional information on the captures, even if they don't believe he's the capturer himself. But I think it's important to note, this is breaking news, and they broke into the Olympics to talk about this case. It's a big case here in the United States. On your show, we delve a little bit deeper. We can talk about the why this is important. It's important because we have a high-profile person who's been abducted. We want to make sure that these kind of cases get solved so we deter this from happening again. We don't want copycats to pop up, these things to continue to happen. So it's important, but I hear it. When we go home and we're talking about this case and people say, well, people are abducted every day. My sister, my cousin, my friend was abducted. They didn't get this kind of coverage. They didn't get these kind of resources. But we want to all rally behind this, get this case solved so people don't think they can get away with these types of crimes, and we continue to see these things happening. So we should all come together. This is a good breaking development. Hopefully it can lead to an arrest and she can come back alive.
All right, we're going to go down to Arizona, where Jake Tapper is outside of the Guthrie home. Jake, as we've been discussing, this is the most activity I think we've seen on this case in the time that Nancy Guthrie has gone missing. What can you tell us about, I don't know if you've been in touch with the Guthrie family, or about what is the significance of law enforcement finally having at least someone to question in this case?
Well, it's been a monumental day. It started, of course, with the FBI providing for the first time in this 10-day ordeal some tangible evidence about who actually did this, who actually, walked into the home, broke into the home behind me, and abducted this 84-year-old woman, Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC's Savannah Guthrie. Before today, there really was nothing except for these ransom notes, and I think there's still a questionable credibility. So today we had the 6 still images and the 3 videos released to the public, once again asking for the public's help, as Savannah Guthrie did, and the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department did on Monday. And there was a lot of information in those videos and still images. The build, the gait, the complexion, a lot of information about that person, about this individual. And now this information, we don't yet know how significant it is, but certainly it is of significance that somebody has been brought to the Pima County Sheriff's Department with the FBI for questioning. And while